Nice.
Mark, the first week out of the way, your thoughts on how it went or what you think stand out to?
The right direction. I think the biggest just group that's standing out that I've brought up several times is the defensive line. Those guys are playing their tails off, and they're physically very dominating to begin with, and great guys. Not normal to be able to say that about your defensive line group as a whole, but they're playing great, and very excited about them.
Overall, first week, what you wanted though, generally for the whole team?
We're getting better. So in that way, yes, we're installing a bunch of stuff. We're getting 1 million reps, and so anytime you can get that much stuff on tape and get to Sunday, get a recovery day. We'll meet. We'll what are we going to do? We're going to meet, get some treatment, have a little snack in the morning, and then they're going to be with their position coaches in the afternoon.
So you like the pace, you like the speed of practice, the ways the guys are going?
Yeah, at times we had a couple little lagging periods today of a bunch of installation offensively and defensively, and so there were some young guys not quite lining up as fast as you'd like on both sides. But again, that's par for the course this time of year. The thing that's encouraging is our guys are starting to correct more and more mistake. They're making new mistakes, and like we've talked about, that's okay.
Mark, what about the wide receiving group? A few guys, BJ, Braylon, Keenan, guys projected maybe have that breakout year because they have the tools. What steps have they made that kind of prepare them for that?
They're practicing hard. I don't know who's going to break anything or do anything, but those guys are. They're all working hard. That position, those guys run 1 million miles. Those guys on our defensive backs run a ton, even in relationship to how we practice. And so they're in and out and around. Guys have made a few plays here, made a few plays there, but nobody's really just stepped up and, strangled the role.
As for BJ, he's got that speed. People see it on the field, on the track. What steps has he made in addition to what he can do with his leg?
Well, that's what he needs to do. He's got that dreaded label of potential, and anytime you've got a guy that can run that fast in any setting, there's potential. And now you have to just put everything else together, whether it's route running, getting rerouted and coming back the next play, fighting. He's a tough guy, but he's still a young guy, and he's developing.
What did you learn about backup quarterbacks in this week?
They've had their moments. Both those guys have done some good things. Both of them have made, I think there's been a couple of I need to make this throw to force it to win the job type of mistakes. But they just need to play within the system. And when they do that, they've been really good.
Which one of them was on the travel team last season?
Well, they both were at times, yeah.
Can you tell me what separates them? What are their differences? Which one do well?
Oh my goodness, they're very similar. Both those guys are. Jake's probably got, if we got out a radar gun, he'd have a little bit stronger arm. But Jeff has a very efficient motion, and the ball gets there in about the same amount of time. So they're both good athletes. They're both tough guys. Yeah, I think they're similar guys.
How hard a decision is that going to be for you, or is it a decision you have to make?
Well, not yet. Certainly, we're going to put those guys in a bunch of situations to, establish themselves and separate as fall camp continues.
It's only been a week, but you said Bosico Lacumbo is one guy. This year's really got to step up and be a man. Do you see that yet? Has he indicated in any way that this is going to be a big year for him?
I think all those linebackers have practiced. Again, at times really, really well. Tyson has done some really good things. Raheem Cassell, Rodney Hardrick have really stood out. At times Joe Walker's running around really well. And that's going to be a great competition too.
Are you where you want to be at the end of the first week?
You're never where you want to be. You're always getting better and always striving for something else. And why do we drop that ball or why do we make that mistake? But you're never satisfied. I like where we're going, but we got to go there.
Guys picking things up pretty quickly.
Yeah. I think the offensive line guys, this is about the time where they get hit in the face between offensive installation and then blocking different fronts, that there's some mistakes being made. We had, a couple plays where there were 5 guys in the backfield, which that's not real good if you're an offensive lineman. But by the same token, the offensive line had a couple creases where, the freshman D lineman's in the wrong gap. So that stuff happens, and that's where you have to coach everything on that play and what went well and why, and what was wrong and why, and move on.
Mark, I heard you kind of praise the D-line yesterday. Can you maybe elaborate more on that, what you're seeing that impresses you?
You've come in late, so you missed that answer already. No, they had another great practice. Those guys, Taylor Hart really stood out. Eric Armstead did some really good things. Ricky did some really good things. Wade did some really good things. They're just playing at a very high level, and really like how they're playing.
Mark, getting back to the wide receiver thing with Braylon.
He's writing a story on wide receivers, or doing a thing on wide receivers.
What kind of sets
On
him
who? I'm sorry.
Braylon. What sets him apart as an individual, and where does he need to improve?
Braylon's a dynamic guy, and he just needs to be that guy every play. And like a lot of developing guys, he's just a sophomore. Consistency is the toughest thing to really just drill into your own mind. But we just need him to be at the top of his game every play.
You go inside just to precaution when the thunder started?
Well, yeah, we had the little the whatever the thing is, I don't know how to. Sure, the weather alert, and the lightning was 5 miles away, and so I got the guys out of the lifts and out of the deals for just precaution, and then just decided to go in there so we could start work and not have to worry about it.
Does that cramp things a little bit though? I mean, it's so roomy
Well,
out
it's
here.
so much, it's so nice outside. It's for many reasons, but I thought the guys did a great job of we huddled up, said we're going in there, we went in there and went to work.
You see a little bit of D'Anthony with the way Braylon plays so dynamically.
Well, D'Anthony's a pretty special guy. I think Braylon has that potential. He doesn't have that just wow speed that D'Anthony does, but he has the potential to be that type of playmaker.
Points of emphasis early next week now, based on what you've done. Or?
We're still, we'll still be in installation mode on both sides. We'll break a little bit more into some quote-unquote game-like situations, getting some down and distance stuff, we did a little bit of red zone stuff today, try to get the kickers in some pressure situations, but just still ramping up toward week one.